I want to know, why did Schedule 1 become so popular? It's because of content creators. It's because of the currently failing AAA gaming industry leading to less competition. But these answers aren't satisfying and don't seem to entirely explain how this random indie game can become as successful as it is. It's also because of its addictive gameplay loop. But what does that mean exactly? What specifically makes Schedule 1, a game about making and selling addictive drugs, addictive and enjoyable to play? Let's get into that. To start with the short and simple answer, it's mainly because Schedule 1 does grind correctly. In many games that have a lot of grind in them, most of the grind tries to incentivize or at least psychologically condition the player to do just one thing on repeat for a long period of time. Like, for an example, mining for netherite in Minecraft. The traditional way the game wants you to look for netherite is just mining netherrack for 5, 10, 30, or however long minutes straight until you get lucky, without incentivizing you to do basically anything else during the entire time. Or take Rust as another example. If you want to build a base all by yourself without any specific server starter kits, then I guess you're going to be stuck looking at trees and rocks for what feels like an eternity. None of these two examples ever make you do multiple different things in a short amount of time, or even give you a constant rotating variation of tasks. Now, of course, the entirety of these games don't have repetitive grind like this all the time, but there are still examples of them in many games. If you still didn't understand exactly what I'm talking about, then I'll make an example of what is dynamic and fluid, or less exhausting and repetitive grind in Schedule 1. In the game, your main goal is probably making and selling drugs. Let's take weed for an example. Once you have gotten and set up all the items and objects needed to start a marijuana farm, like grow tents, potted plants, weed seeds, etc., the process of making marijuana roughly goes like this. You spend around 10 seconds pouring in the soil, then spending another 10 seconds planting the seed, another 10 seconds watering the plant, and let's say you want to add fertilizer as well, so another 10 seconds of that and you're done. If let's say you have 4 grow tents in total, so 3 more plants to grow, then you only have to repeat the process 3 more times, making roughly, at most, a total of 2 minutes and 40 seconds spent setting up your plants. And now you can go outside of your base and do whatever else you want in the meantime while your plants grow. And during this time, the game does a really good job at incentivizing players, especially ones with ADHD or certain kinds of OCD, to go out and clean the trash they notice on the ground. Or they get a bajillion text messages from their customers they need to answer, or they need to go to the hardware store to get something they need and probably also decide what else to buy as well. Or some other players notice there's a casino in the game, so then they spend plenty of time doing many other things very frequently without spending 10 plus minutes doing something like watering a single plant constantly. And even when it is time to get back to your plants after they have grown, you still do different things like harvesting the product, packaging the product, which is its own minigame, all in a relatively short amount of time. And just like that, you can already start selling your weed, or do something else first. Schedule 1 does a very good job of making the player wanting to explore and interact with the somewhat content-rich world, which is precisely what makes the game's gameplay feel addictive and constantly fresh for a while. The average player never feels like they're doing the same thing over and over again and nothing else for a long period of time. Because of how short each individual tasks like watering and packaging are in the game, it makes it more likely for the player to get the feeling of, let me do this one more thing before I log off, or just let me spend one more day before I quit. The game's grind, instead of feeling repetitive, exhausting, long, or boring, now feels enticing and addictive because of how short and doable each task seems to the player. And that is, in short, the biggest reason why I think Schedule 1 is a massive success. Instead of doing one specific task for 30 minutes straight, you're doing something like 10 different unique tasks in 5 minutes. But I would also like to know what other major reasons you think there could be behind Schedule 1's success.